YouTube, what up? It's your boy Crypto J coming at you with another J Talks Crypto. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. We're going to talk about some crypto today. We're talking about it all, guys. I'm going to get these charts pulled up. Decided to go live this morning. I'm exhausted. Tired, guys. Tired. I could barely open my eyes this morning. Say, you know what? I gotta go live today because it's Monday, and I know that you guys are waiting on a live stream because today's a big day for the markets, right? It's a big day. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to share this stream over on X as well, just so everybody can have it. I don't know why it's saying the chat is unavailable at this time, but we'll get that fixed. Just sharing the stream. Looks like a lot of people are starting to come in. Welcome, guys. Happy Monday. Sorry, I'm so tired this morning, but yeah, got to get some more sleep. Let's talk about it, right? We're going to start talking about some of these charts. I know a lot of you guys paying attention as well. So as you guys can see, total market cap coming in at 3.14. Fear Greed Index coming in at a 37. Markets looking like they might be taking off, coming in at, Bitcoin coming in at 1025. And we talked about the possibility of us seeing a price bump today, but I did say they might be a fake out, right? I haven't looked at these charts. It's really the first time today that I've seen the charts, so I'm going to give you guys my real time reaction on what I feel like is going to happen in the market. Is again, Bitcoin coming in at 1024 right now and starting to see some sell off, right? Is it breaking down, or can Bitcoin find a bottom pretty soon? That is the question, right? Did it find a bottom down at 100K, or again, is Bitcoin need to see some more sell off, right? Looking like we might be forming some kind of a bear flag here. We're actually right under that bottom. Must be probably retesting it right now. No, not yet. I still have a lot of them actually. We're testing on 4 right now. So we're trying to see if we can get a breakout on this 4-hour chart. We'll see what Bitcoin can do. Again, to the key level of resistance right here on the 4. And if we could break above 102, maybe we can create some kind of down here in this 100 range, sub 100 range, or whatever you want to call it. If not, Bitcoin is going to need to see some more correction, right? As a matter of fact, Bitcoin can correct down all the way down to, in my opinion, down here, retest this 98 range again, and possibly lower if it doesn't want to hold back. But again, Bitcoin can still make a move, can still pump up out of this. We do usually see a lot of fake outs happen early in the week. So again, that's what I am paying attention to. I was kind of saying yesterday, it was just a little bit too much sell off for me. And it was going to probably more than likely be a rough, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe price bumps here. Again, a lot of developments happening in the Middle East. I don't know why the live chat is not working, but I guess that's unavailable. But as you guys can see, Bitcoin's still not confirming a breakout right now. It's still rejecting a wedge here. Hopefully, some kind of a wedge that it could pump off of. But again, not a confirmed breakout yet. We could easily reject off this one. Send back down. That's what I would really be paying attention to more towards the middle of the day. I would think probably like the next 4 hours probably, right? Because it's really going to depend on how this next candle opens and closes on the 4-hour chart. If we open right here in the next 4 hours and we start printing red, it's going to look like a rejection of the zone here, and it's going to probably indicate that again we're still found the need to see this 98 range. So that's really kind of what I'm paying attention to right now. Some of these other indicators just show that we are starting to get a lot of shorts rolling in the market right now, which again is something that is pretty predictable at a time like this where we're retesting. I would expect, because we're in a downtrend and we're retesting this range, that there would be a decent amount of short that coming here. But again, you see times something had actually happened earlier. In my opinion, we have not broke up. It's not a confirmation kind of bullish activity. This is a retest of some higher levels of resistance, but not a confirmation. So I am paying attention to that. Also paying attention to again stuff when you want to see the market pumping, right? I think the market's probably up like 4 or 5% right now, probably in this video, but generally, like I would rather see that on like Thursday than have it on Monday. I just feel like this Monday morning price action is usually not the best time for Oh no. So I'm just paying attention to what's some other stuff also. But yeah, pretty much I feel like Bitcoin will kind of be the confident market. Right. Let's check out the Toshi Coin with Ethereum. I know a lot of you guys interested in those two. Which I guess, dang, wow, look at that. Or look at Toshi up 16% in the past 24 hours. Wow. Yeah, 184 million market and seeing some demand, right? Interesting. A lot of people were thinking maybe Toshi's done for, maybe Toshi doesn't have any room to grow. I was saying, I don't think that's the case. I think that's actually going to take some time. It's going to be volatile, but it seems to, again, be pumping every time Bitcoin's pumping. Bitcoin pumping. Toshi up close to 20% today. But again, what is fueling this good news? What is fueling this price pump today? I don't know. I don't know if this is sustainable with all the stuff that's going on in the world. Can we see this type of price action, or again, does the market need to see more of a breakdown going into the week? Right? Usually, again, real legitimate price action is going to happen closer to what it's Monday pump stuff. Doesn't have the feel it's stupid. You guys could see the past 4 hours, just like on Bitcoin, looking very good on Twitch, right? As far as we can like really test some ranges ourselves, and if we can break above this, there's actually a decent gap that needs to be filled all the way up to like 200 million probably. So again, maybe we can break out this range. We can head up into one of these higher ranges where we do have a lot of support, right? But also when you create those levels of support, also levels of resistance when you're up under them, right? So again, Toshi Coin really got to show some volume, but it is. The past 24 hours up 16 close to 17%, and seeing some good price volume on this Bitcoin volatility, which again is a good thing if you're holding some Toshi. I also want to talk about some Ethereum because again, Ethereum, another coin that I was kind of concerned about during this dip, right? Bitcoin Ethereum was actually looking like we wanted to have retested some lower ranges as low as like probably like 11, 1200. But now today, Ethereum might be looking like it wants to see a different song, right? See some kind of bottom happening on Ethereum. Ethereum going to start making a recovery, pretty decent sized gap back on Ethereum here. If Bitcoin does want to run, maybe Ethereum will have a pretty good run too. And this could be an indicator that we're in some kind of alt cycle. It's going to take a lot because there's a lot of fear in the market. You guys can see also on the 1 year, creating a little bit of a bear flag here, right? Looks like we're kind of breaking down, forming a bear flag. And this could actually be like that pattern on the 1 year chart. Bitcoin decides again that it doesn't want to make a recovery anytime soon because Ethereum's not really sitting on much support. It's kind of hanging off the side of the cliff. So we need to break above a lot of levels today. As you guys can see, we're testing some key zones right now. So today will be a big day for Ethereum. Ethereum can continue its volume. Or again, if this coin is one that needs to break down, see a retest of some lower levels in order to establish new all-time highs. Of course, that's going to be up to the market to decide. I don't get to decide that. Only the market decide that. So you guys can see these guys over here in the peanut gallery. They got there, right? These guys are always going to have people talking about, the rate cut possibly coming in July. Is that going to be enough to pump the market? I don't know, right? Because even last week when we had the whole announcement, we weren't going to announce the rate, or we weren't going to raise the rate. What was the market doing going into that day? The market was already jumping going into that announcement. So again, will that be enough to pump the market? Are we still in a downtrend? I don't know the answer to the first one, but I do know the answer to the second one. We're still technically in a downtrend right now. Until we get a confirmation. At least that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for certain key levels to tell me that Bitcoin is making it. I feel like right now for Bitcoin, I'm looking for like 104.5. I'm looking for a good solid close above 104.5. And I want to see that happen really by probably Thursday. I would like to see Bitcoin be looking a little bit more solid, right? 104.5 is going to put us above a lot of these levels of resistance and looking like we might be able to make a comeback, right? But at the same time, there is a lot of resistance now above 102. So hopefully, again, Bitcoin can stay solid enough to break through some of those levels. That's kind of what I would be paying attention to this week. Also, super paying attention to the fear greed index. We've been watching this fear greed index, guys, the past like couple of months. Really, we've been paying attention to this, and we were really ahead of this correction, right? We knew that there was a decent chance that the breakdown because of the fear greed index. So also paid attention to this thing coming in at 37 today, looking very volatile, right? See, many times this thing has dropped down into this orange, and it looks like we're just starting to drop down into the orange. Today is Monday. We're starting to pump. We're just dropping into the orange. This is like a fake out. This is a fake out to me because, again, we haven't had a clear confirmation. We're still seeing this sell off here. We're just barely headed into the orange. And you guys can see kind of how these trends tend to hold when they go from green usually like green, yellow, back green. Like that's very rare that that happens on Bitcoin. It happens right here, right? Green, yellow, green. But again, this was a little bit too fast. I got into the green little too fast. That's what I was telling you guys before. That's why I thought that this price pump is not legitimate, right? Because you can see last time we did something, or last time we had to make a recovery, it just took a little more time. Matter of fact, it took from July all the way to August. So the fact that we see this correction happen and then such a sharp recovery over like 2 months or something like that, and then again, I see a breakout, leading me to think that again our market is not necessarily found to stop, but maybe it does need to see a little bit more correction to continue on with the cycle. Not to say that the cycle is broken, just to say that you might need to sell out. Really see it on the one here, right? Interesting, interesting. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Bitcoin needs to see a retest of similar ranges? If so, how low can Bitcoin go? Can we see an $85,000 Bitcoin, or again, is 100K the bottom, and now it's time to start having that retrace that we all want to see for 2025? I'm always been kind of telling you guys predictions on the market. Sometimes again, things differ after world events, stuff like that. Of course, it's been like so many world events now that kind of people are changing their mind on the markets. Certain things I have changed my stance on, but my stance is still the same. That I do not think that Bitcoin has topped out yet. No, I still don't think that Bitcoin has topped out. But at the same time, again, I do think that we're at a point right now in Bitcoin where it's going to be volatile, and every day is going to be a emotional roller coaster. A lot of people that are open like that is it can really drop down pretty significantly. And as you guys can see, you can look right back up pretty significantly, right? Bitcoin dropping all the way down to like what 98 or something just yesterday, now coming in at 102. Honestly, I would expect a strong pump today to liquidate a lot of these guys, but at the same time, just not seeing this confirmed breakout yet. Maybe again, break above that 104.5. I'll be changing my tune, but just for a Monday pump, I'm not stoked about this. I know some people would be stoked about this because again, they don't really have much of a guy for these markets when it comes to like what to pick for and when to be looking for supply action. But to me, this chart is looking a little bit high. It's looking a little bit. It doesn't want to create some kind of a wedge here, which honestly is not a good possibility. It's a better chance this decline than we have this little McDonald's. But again, you got so much tension rising in the Middle East right now. You got the United States getting involved now. You got other countries talking about getting involved. It's gonna be crazy. Hopefully, nobody else gets involved. Hopefully, things is gonna get worked out. In my opinion, that's really the only way that our market well. I don't think that our market is going to do well if we're going to war with a country that controls our oil, because then our oil is going to go up, the market is going to go down. People are going to want to be more cash heavy, and it's going to have like a trickle down effect on every other industry as well. So that is going to hurt the bottom line. That's going to hurt the economy, right? Which is going to again, going if our market goes down due to things like rising oil costs and stuff like that, people will be out of jobs. People rely on oil to do their job, like and people like that. People are the way that are. So again, if these things start affecting us, start affecting a lot of jobs, job growth is kind of what moves the market. So, if people's jobs are getting affected by things like tariffs, like by things like, the rise of oil costs and stuff like that, rise of food costs, because they're not able to import things the way that they were before. They have other ways of getting things to the country and stuff like that. That's all going to rain back into our pockets. And again, it's going to create a situation where Bitcoin might be headed a little bit lower. But also get, some peace coming out pretty soon, and them telling us, oh yeah, we worked everything out. We just needed Bitcoin to go to 100K more. Now we're all chilling. We're cool. We can send the market back to where it was going. Because guys, the market was going in a positive direction before we got all this crap, right? Weren't we just at a point where we thought that we were going to see a breakout like multiple times? We thought we were going to see a breakout. One time we see Bybit hack, then we see Coinbase hack, then we see a war. Israel attacks Iran, then we see the reverse, and then we see now the U.S. getting involved. When Bitcoin is literally sitting at 100K, when literally Bitcoin is like, okay, did you come here, or are they just going to put a knife in us? It just feels like on that day, right? But at the same time, do I think that it's the end for Bitcoin? Do I think that Bitcoin has topped out? I do not think that that's the case. momentum left in the cycle. I just think that it might push back a little bit. I think that this might take a little bit longer, right? We haven't had a blow off top yet. Just like last time, it was just steady growth, and then you had a blow off top later. I still think it's the same thing. I think it's going to be very volatile, a lot of up and down, but ultimately, market is still undecided. I actually really want to show some of these more long-term indicators. Just well, we haven't just because I haven't showed a lot of long-term indicators. I haven't really checked a lot of the long-term indicators, but I just kind of know what the zones are that I'm paying attention to anyway. So I don't really need to look at these every day, but these up just for you guys, just so you guys can kind of see what I'm saying when I say don't think that we found it. Like I don't think we have to see the blow off top yet, right? I show you a logarithmic chart, but this is the stock flow chart. It might help you better to understand kind of what I'm talking about. We talked about when we were in the red here. This was at like 55K. This was like kind of how we found the bottom. I was telling you guys, people were undecided when Bitcoin was going at like 55K, right? We were pretty this giant bull flag. Things were looking like very uncertain, like they were going to break down, and people really didn't know which way the market was going, right? If you see over here, we created like this giant bull flag, and it was looking nasty, right? Or it was right here, right? We created this giant bull flag all the way right here, and it was looking nasty. And people were thinking, oh, Bitcoin's found the top. This was a rejection off of this zone. And we used the stock to flow chart to tell us, no, this is actually red right now. You guys can see every time we were in the red, we were in the red, we were in the red. It's actually like the bottom of the trend, right? There's a better chance that it would be the bottom of the trend. It's not saying every single time that this is going to be right. Yet some people are against the stock to flow model. Some people think that this model doesn't work, even though it has been pretty solid in the past. You can see it's not 100%, right? This thing is not riding right on top of the line, but at the same time, it's been a good indicator of possibly where we're at in the cycle. So you guys can see we're kind of just starting to enter this yellow zone here, and it hasn't generally been an indicator of the top when we're this low and in the yellow, right? Now we did have a top like indicator that maybe we were seeing like price movements correct like here where we went from orange to yellow, but look how high the price already was, right? We're coming off of a significant correction right now. In my opinion, this type of correction looks a lot more like this type of pattern that we saw here, right? We get into this orange, we consolidate a bit. It is a lot of uncertainty that happens in this orange. It's kind of been that way every single time that we've been in this orange. It's been a lot of volatility, and that's what I told you guys is that even according to the theme indicator, you can see how much volatility that we've had when we entered this orange, right? It's a lot of volatility. Bitcoin acts very erratic. People don't know whether it's going to go up or down. It's kind of like the middle, right? But look, this is the same time Trump's last term, right? Really looks so similar. Doesn't this right here really look so similar to this right here? Right before again this parabolic growth that we can possibly see. Maybe this lines up a little bit more towards 2026. So, maybe we need to see a little bit of consolidation, right? We could have a shoulder head shoulder point right here. Anything could happen, right? You guys could see this. When we fell into this long zone, this has been kind of the best time to be buying Bitcoin. Again, when we were in the red on the stock to flow chart, we were actually in the green on this, right? This is our long zone. Best time to be longing Bitcoin kind of thing. You guys could see I was down here back in 2023 when Bitcoin was sitting at $15,000. Why didn't you buy Bitcoin when it was at $15,000? What did you do, right? You had just been stacking Bitcoin. What were you doing? Again, a lot of people don't like to buy bottom. They don't like to buy it when the price looks right. So does Bitcoin need to see a recorrection down to this green? It doesn't usually happen that way, right? That's not really ever been what's happened, right? We went from blue to red to orange, and then seeing some price run up, blue to red to orange, seeing some price run up, but we never go from blue to red to yellow back down to green. We never really did that. So again, that's another reason why I say I don't think that broken off of our cycle. I don't think that we're anywhere that we shouldn't be right now. I just feel like it's going to take a little bit more time than what people are used to. We could also look at our fear greed index as a chart. Usually, we look at it on CoinMarketCap and just kind of see like a little view of it, but we can actually pull up the fear greed index chart and kind of see what that's like too. If it'll load, it may not load. But yeah, fear greed index is another indicator that I use because of where we're at, but it might maybe we won't look at that. Maybe we won't look at it. Can we look at some of our moving averages? Well, let us look at that. Or just flag it. Can we look at the indicator? We'll look at some of these. You guys can see Bitcoin now coming in at 101. See the rejection happened now, right? Yeah, we needed to see some good solid closes on some of these candles. And is Bitcoin starting to actually want to break down? That's why I'm on this video. That's the question, right? Bitcoin now coming in at 101.7. Are we having a rejection? Oh, I told you guys that if we're gonna have a breakdown, it's probably gonna happen in the next 4 hours. So I still kind of think that that's kind of gonna happen. Oh, look at that 1 hour, looking like a rejection here. This breaks below this 101 level. Be good. Not gonna be good. I mean, maybe we get some news coming out today. I don't know. Look at this. Again, total McDonald's M. This I'm not loving it. Indicator more than likely. This is honestly I'm probably going to go short you, and I'm not telling you guys to go short the market. Not telling you to do that at all. The market's always volatile. But if I was really just trying to play on this trend, I would not mind. I would be in this market right here as we are retesting this 2 hour zone right here, and the price is creating somewhat of a wedge, right? This thing is looking like it just made a rejection. And on the 30, you can see it. I mean, this could be easily a fake. This could be a trap. You know, you got to keep that in mind too. That these guys are going to take traps the entire time on the way up and on the way down because they don't want anybody to be able to make money, right? Don't want anybody to be able to make money. The goal is to really get people out of the market at times like this, right? Two types of people that are getting out of the market at times like this. One type of person is the guy who is way too invested in the space, who's witnessing too much of a loss on his portfolio. He can't handle it, so he's going to get out. The other guy is the guy who's just trying to swing. He's just trying to make some money. Those guys, they're trying to liquidate those guys as well. So you got to understand when our monthly chart looks as erratic as it does this month, right? Bitcoin has been totally erratic this month. So to understand that the reason why the monthly looks like this is because this market is always moving. People are always trying to make money, even in a sideways trend, even in a downtrend, even in an uptrend. So again, we're making bets, they're placing bets according to where the price is at. A lot of people getting wrecked. So that's why the price kind of looks the way that it does on a month. But we are starting to see again a breakdown. We started to see really that breakdown happen on the weekend. And I'm still telling you guys that we need to see a good strong close above 104.5. If we do not see a close above 104.5, I would not call this a recovery. I would call this Bitcoin breaking down, right? So support going into like Wednesday. I think that Monday and Tuesday, I think for the next few days, we're probably going to see some sell action, especially if Bitcoin does kind of pump off of a resistance like this. We're going to be right back down at 98. And then again, if the confidence is not there tomorrow either, then guess what? We're going to be headed even more down. And there is also, guys, guess what? A chance that the confidence is not going to be there based off of where we're at on our fear greed index, right? We just talked about where we were kind of at on the fear greed index. So again, fear greed index showing that we might need to see more of a correction. And this is the chart again that I have been paying attention to. This is a chart, one of the charts, the indicators, one of them that I've been using to pretty much follow this thing pretty good. Let's talk about some of the long term. I want to talk about the pi cycle indicator. I want to talk about the RSI. I want to talk about like the rainbow indicator, some other long term indicators for Bitcoin. Again, for you guys, kind of want to see where I feel like we're at in the cycle and kind of my reasoning behind it. You guys can see again Trump's last term, right? This blue moving average is our 111-day moving average. It's kind of just moved right through, right? The trend. It's moved right through the trend, had a couple of retests of the bottom of it, but it kind of just moves right up through it. We get across here, and this is like kind of where we start seeing some sell off. But you guys can see very similar to right now, right? We're just kind of cutting through the trend right now. We haven't really had a blow off top. You can see our blow off tops really come when we cross above this 350-day moving average, right? And we just haven't had that really yet. We have not. I mean, maybe you could say that possibly that's happened right here, but look, we went on to create another high right here, right? I mean, it happened here too, but we went on again, right? So it's not necessarily to say just because of this on the top, but in the past, we have, the top has been after we break above this, right? It's a blow off top, right? We have not seen that yet, in my opinion. We have not seen that. We can still possibly see that happen again, maybe in 2025. I like this golden ratio multiplier. All it's good. I like to check this thing, kind of tell me where we're at with our trend. You guys can see, right? Very similar here again last turn, right? This is a bunch of different moving averages that this is like here. So you guys can see, but we're kind of trending on our 350 moving average. We bounced off of it a couple times. The question is, we need to see a retest of this 350 moving average before we bounce off of it, if we're going to bounce off of it again. There's a chance we break down off of that, but historically, kind of where we've been with Bitcoin, we haven't really seen that type of price action where we would do something similar to here and then break down, right? That hasn't generally happened. It's been more like how we would break up. So that's why I've just kind of been telling you guys the entire time, I'm not bearish on this. I'm not bearish on Bitcoin. I'm just patient. I know that this time is going to suck. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it. None of these other indicators are equal. Maybe the RSI, right? The RSI is our relative strength index. It kind of just tells us how much confidence that we have in the market. See, it can go either way right now. This could be a bull flag forming here. This could also be a bear flag forming here. Or not a bear flag. It could be a bull flag from here. It could be like a shoulder, head, shoulder also forming here if this thing wants to break down. But you guys can see when we head into the spread here, kind of how our price has reacted in the past. Same thing, kind of how our price has reacted in the past. Looks like Bitcoin is doing new things, right? This RSI pattern looking a little bit different than prior. But again, it's still showing that maybe we haven't seen the top. Maybe this is a bull flag. Maybe this is going to start actually picking up. We'll see. Again, we'll see. There's always a chance that we did find a bottom at 100K. We talked about that being a good psychological barrier and also a necessary point of correction. And I think that that was pretty accurate. That was a necessary point of correction. Again, how far the market needs to correct down, I really don't, right? With everything going on in the world today, can we hold this 100K? Even like we're sitting at 100K and then the United States does what they did the other day and then the market breaks down below 100K. But now we don't really know what's going to happen next. Now we're like, okay, we did what we did. Now there's peace. And it's like, maybe not, possibly not, like maybe people are, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Again, there could be more fear in the market. The fear and greed index is showing us that, we might see a retest of some lower low these fear ranges. But again, there's long-term indicators that are still showing the trend has not ended. That the cycle is still going on. So those are all the things that I'm paying attention to. You guys enjoyed this video again. Make sure that you hit it like. I'm gonna cut it here. We got a lot of content out of today, so you guys want to make sure you're plugged in. Make sure you're tapped in. If you like these live, we're gonna be going live a lot more. Trying to do it every morning if possible, and maybe another time in the afternoon. Again, make sure you hit the notification bell so that you guys know when I hit a new video. And I'll catch you next one.